Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. Ripple improves business customers' access to international payment services. Our long-term goal with RippleNet, a blockchain-based payment network, is to make sending and receiving money as easy as sending an email. We cannot possibly build something like that by ourselves. It's a lofty goal, and in the 8 years since we set it, we've learned a lot about both the opportunities and the challenges that lie ahead. The good news is that CBDCs can lessen expenses and speed up and improve the dependability of domestic settlement. It is impossible to have trustworthy international payments if domestic settlements cannot be trusted. Because of how inefficient they currently are, foreign payments are more important than most people realize. Neither conversation nor the vast majority of modern emails would have been sent at all if not for the invention of email. To put it another way, a lot of money-making transactions are lost every year. Given the challenges inherent in processing foreign transactions, the market potential is substantial. In most cases, local transfers on both sides of an international payment are required for it to complete successfully. If you imagine an efficient and reliable international settlement system, keep in mind that the endpoints of the payments won't benefit from it unless the domestic components at both ends are similarly efficient and reliable. Those nations that fail to modernize their domestic systems will miss out on the benefits of the ongoing revolution and payments. It is inevitable that financial institutions, digital wallet providers, and fintech companies will play crucial roles in the circulation of CBC. Since central banks can't provide direct consumer services, it wouldn't make sense for them to try to expand to replace consumer financial infrastructure. We've learned that getting the money to the actual recipient within their own country's payment system can be the most difficult part of building a modern international payment. Due to a lack of consumer connectivity, CBDCs will be unable to resolve the last-mile problem that has made international payment upgrades so difficult. Thankfully, Singapore is modernizing its homegrown infrastructure. While the Federal Reserve System is being established in the United States at present, it will not become operational for several more years. These payment systems must be built using modern, interoperable technology. If they aren't updated, the person making and receiving the payment won't be able to take benefit of enhanced international settlement. There is a risk that none of the funds will be received. They won't move to a world with a single asset unless that asset's value is in line with where it is now, even if you may imagine a time in the future where there is only one asset. In both cases, compatibility is crucial because the value of the world is currently split between incompatible systems, requiring a complex treasury system and a plethora of specialized and eccentric connecting manages to keep things running smoothly. Companies that process a high volume of payment terminals typically employ hundreds of workers. To compete with established companies that have already invested in this type of payment infrastructure, a new company would need to hire 100 payment engineers and 12 treasury operations workers. For this reason, there is an opportunity to link regional real-time payment systems like the Federal Clearinghouse for US dollars, which would have substantial benefits for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises and, eventually, their customers around the world. Many modern computer networks are merely pieces of the internet, so we must build systems with common ground. This wasn't always the case, though. Many of you are probably aware that Cisco's meteoric rise to power was enabled by the company's ability to connect previously disconnected legacy systems to the internet. 2. Stay competitive, you have to constantly create new internet-like networks. Since the majority of networks now operate similarly to the internet, this is no longer an issue. However, there was a long period of transition because of the need for interoperability on the way there. We will not start from scratch with a new financial system and expect a seamless transition overnight. That won't work in real life. Payments and settlement still haven't caught up to the modern era, and there's a big gap. There is little communication between the gated gardens. A vast number of somewhat unconnected linkages carry liquidity. It is costly for enterprises to keep track of cash and pre-fund transactions, which often need to be done days in advance, because they are unaware of which domestic payments they will need to make in which countries. When discussing stablecoins and CBDCs, it is important to keep in mind that, because they are all pegged to the same underlying fiat currency card, there can never be a single victor. The world will not suddenly switch to using a single stablecoin or fiat currency. Since the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944, the US dollar has been the world's primary reserve currency. We've seen, though, that this year in particular, the situation has worsened. The US dollar's role as the world's reserve currency is becoming increasingly precarious, but I do not expect it to be totally superseded in the near future or even within the next few decades. As a result of the widespread unpredictability, investors and institutions are considering alternatives to the US dollar, including other safe havens, asset classes, and even cryptocurrency. Since the dollar is pegged to the USD, jurisdictional links are increasingly frowned upon in many regions of the world. This kind of framework that gives the United States and the European Union extraterritorial authority over systems and independent nations and areas is rejected by many of the world's independent states. We risk repeating the same mistake if every country issues its own CBDC and starts utilizing stable coins pegged to multiple regional currencies, despite the fact that countries like Saudi Arabia desire a Middle Eastern payment system that respects their sovereignty. It is crucial that these digital currencies may interact with one another, as well as with traditional assets and infrastructure. It makes no sense for two sovereign nations to negotiate the capital controls of a third country when a CBDC is bound by the same political and economic constraints on trade as its corresponding fiat currency. A global currency issued by a global government and recognized everywhere is an implausible concept. Interoperability with only a few assets in terms of jurisdiction, the lowest possible resolution, and increased fragmentation appear to be our only viable future options. When searching on a global scale, you must take into account the interoperability of your resources, because they are located in different legal systems. If you don't maintain a neutral asset position between a number of CBDCs, your liquid assets will be dispersed across two different pairs of CBDCs. If additional assets, such as securities globally, are tokenized, there will likely be a large number of new assets in new asset classes and a greater need for a neutral asset between different CBDCs. A government-issued cryptocurrency with the same features as Bitcoin, XRP, or Ethereum will never be created. These holdings are not tied to the laws of any one country or region. As a result, CBDCs will serve in place of US assets. The necessity for a cross-jurisdictional settlement asset that is recognized by all CBDCs arises when parties realize they cannot compel one another to use an asset under their control. Therefore, it is better to have a resource over which no one has control than to have a resource which can be controlled by their geopolitical opponents. At first, the idea that Bitcoin could solve the problem of interoperability seemed plausible. But since there are presently over 1,500 cryptocurrencies that don't talk to each other, and since Bitcoin interacts with very little that isn't crypto, this isn't a feasible solution. Instead of building an internet based on compatibility, we built one network and forced everyone to join it, just like the original walled garden did. As a result, the internet cannot function as a unified system if Cisco is absent. If there is only one central network, it must be built with compatibility at the forefront, as we have done. It must also include bridges to connect to other networks, which is why we developed the XRP ledger and currency. The XRP ledger was developed for the sole purpose of easing the process of exchanging XRP, a native neutral currency that acts as a bridge to CBSE stable coins, other payment networks, and other asset classes like stocks, as well as issued assets. The XRP ledger protocol has asset issuance as a core feature, complete with issuance permission, payment, settlement, exchange, and native functions accessible via simple APIs. Fiat, money, securities, or anything else with fungible value and the ability to operate as money can be issued as assets. Naturally, the XRP ledger can't handle all global transactions. In addition, I am not proposing a magically effective network-wide fix. People want different things, and each country has its own set of problems. While there are several ways to approach this problem, XRP has the potential to be the backbone that supports the fast international settlement component. Even if the last mile problem won't go away, this will help with interoperability and liquidity concentration, meaning that firms won't have to keep funds in every possible payment system. It is impossible to have efficient international payments without efficient domestic settlement, and it is unrealistic to expect that these factors, while necessary, will benefit small and medium-sized businesses, consumers, and users without additional measures. However, CBDCs can improve domestic settlement efficiency, which is crucial. We found at Ripple that even if you provide a company with a superior payment rail, they may be hesitant to pass the benefits along to their customers. This is because doing so would make the less sophisticated parts of their system look worse or less desirable. It is often more convenient to just offer payments that settle in 2 to 3 business days rather than to offer a mix of quick and 2 to 3 business day settlements. It's true that you sometimes have to offer everything you have in order to gain nothing, as evidenced by the fact that customers are now less satisfied with the slower payments than they would have been had you not wooed them with the superior experience. Nonetheless, CBZ is undeniably involved. Interoperability across jurisdictions and different fiats, as well as transportation to and from the end user, are the only remaining obstacles. At one point in recent history, a financial revolution swept the globe. At that time, the payment rails of the traditional banking system were becoming obsolete, and cryptocurrencies had yet to become the standard. However, among the many available cryptocurrencies, XRP stood out as the clear frontrunner. XRP's unique properties sparked the beginning of the end of the dominant trend. Unlike other cryptos, XRP was developed specifically for use in the financial sector. Its lightning-fast transaction times and low transaction fees made it ideal for use in international payments and remittances. And financial institutions throughout the globe jumped on board right away. When investors realized XRP might become the backbone of the global financial system, they flooded the market with capital, sending the currency's value soaring. When XRP's market valuation surpassed that of even the largest conventional institutions, it was clear that XRP was the cryptocurrency chosen to dominate the future financial system. As a direct outcome of XRP's dominance, the XRPL was quickly adopted by numerous states as the basis for their new national currencies. Using XRPL is technology to back their national currency had several benefits. It was quick, cheap, and risk-free for use by anyone in the world. As XRP gained traction, it was clear that it was more than simply a cryptocurrency. It was also a game-changing innovation that would forever change the face of finance. With its state-of-the-art capabilities and widespread acceptability. With the advent of XRP, a new age of financial progress and global prosperity has begun. And so, XRP, the cryptocurrency destined to usher in the next global financial order. Change the world has shown itself by rising above every adversity, and it will continue to propel the world forward for the sake of future generations. It's all over today. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you in the next video. Bye.